From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story, the evidence trial for the group of men known as the Fbx Four continued this morning, this time with two of the state's investigators of the case taking the stand, revealing more about the murder investigation of Fairbanks teen John Hartman. Stephanie Woodard has been covering the trial and has more now in this report.
More details this morning in Fairbanks Superior Court, this time from the state's own investigators on the 1997 investigation of the murder of Jonathan Hartman.
Simply put, if Arlo didn't see what he saw and you threw out some of the other state's evidence, the state doesn't have a case. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
The state's investigators testified they simulated Arlo Olson's original testimony. That testimony placed the Fbx Four at the scene of another assault earlier in the evening.
Investigator Gallen and Ms. Bachman stayed in the parking lot of the Eagles Hall, and I walked down the street to the location where the Frank Dayton assault had occurred.
Skeptics have long said that Arlo couldn't have seen that far in the dark.
I had him walk down to the scene where Frank Dayton was allegedly assaulted, which was about 540 feet from the Eagles Hall front steps. He got down there, all I could see was a black silhouette and a white face. I could not make out who he was. I could not tell that he was wearing a hat because he was wearing a hat when he left.
Arlo Olson himself on Friday took to the stand saying he could not see that far and could not originally identify the four men.
You didn't write in your report that I recognized Detective McFerrin, did you?
You didn't. You did not advise me that.
Yeah.
So we knew who he was. I'm describing, once he's standing out there, that you could not see him.
Okay.
And you stated, oh my God, and I didn't know what you meant by that.
He further testified he was pushed to give his testimony.
They gave me the police transcripts of the recording, and so I tend to memorize that.
Also taken up on the stand was the Fairbanks Police Department's original investigation tactics.
The officer is going to need to be patient with a suspect who is willing to mislead him or her in order to see if the suspect will, so to speak, come off that lie, right?
Yes, if the suspect was sober, yes. Most of the time we wouldn't interview them until they sobered up.
Okay.
The state later produced a longer tape of the Arlo Olson interview. That too could not be distinguished by the investigators or the judge this morning.
That's what I was able to discern from a first review of the tape.
From Fairbanks Superior Court, this is Stephanie Woodard reporting.
The Fairbanks School Board today passed an amended resolution to honor Indigenous people of Alaska by replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. The resolution passed after similar proclamations by Alaska Governor Bill Walker and Anchorage City Mayor Ethan Berkowitz were issued. Ryan Grimes has the story.
The Fairbanks Board of Education met at a special meeting to discuss a resolution that makes today Indigenous Peoples Day in the eyes of the district. Alaska Native leaders, teachers, and students attended the meeting. Indigenous Peoples Day was first proposed in 1977 by a delegation of Native nations to UN leaders. Doyon Unlimited Senior Vice President of Administration Jerry Simon says the proclamation is a significant honor to her heritage.
This resolution really does show the rest of the student body, the people of this community, how important this is to us. Shows us the respect and pride that our folks who have been around for generations, deserve.
Fairbanks Native Association President Steve Guinness supported the resolution. However, he wanted to take it a step further. He requested an amendment that emphasizes the significance of Alaska Native contributions to local communities. Board member Michael O'Brien added the amendment to the resolution with support from board members.
Well, I think it's very important to recognize the fact that a lot of our Native organizations here in Fairbanks contribute to the economy of Fairbanks. And I'm talking about millions and millions of dollars.
During discussion, board member Sue Hole said she was uncomfortable with highlighting the issue of an equity gap within the resolution involving Alaska Natives in the school district. Board member Sean Rice supported the original wording of the resolution. He maintained that equality is still an issue for Indigenous students, which makes up just over 10% of the student population in the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District.
We do have our A&E classes. We do have, a lot of Alaska Native education stuff that's going on, and that is starting to close that gap. But now we also have an achievement gap too, and so now we're going to have to look at that as well as the equity gap.
From this day forward, the second Monday of October will now be known as Indigenous Peoples Day in the Fairbanks School District. This is Ryan Grimes reporting from downtown Fairbanks.
And when we come back, what it's like to go on a drive with the Community Service Patrol. Our cameras were there and we'll give you a report. Also, the Fairbanks Children's Museum is teaming up along with the Fairbanks Fire Department for a special event this weekend. We'll tell you what that is. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. And welcome back. As we reported Friday, the Community Service Patrol of the Fairbanks Downtown Association is about $60,000 short of being fully funded for the coming year. Over the weekend, our cameras spent time with CSP Lead Ambassador William Yost. CSP's 6 ambassadors patrol the core downtown area by foot and respond to citywide calls from FPD dispatch 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. The goal is to safely transport incapacitated inebriates to either a family or friend's home, the local detox center, or as a last resort, 12-hour sleep-off at the Fairbanks Correctional Center. 2015 is looking to be CSP's busiest year as they have responded to over 4,500 calls. From those calls, CSP has transported more than 3,000 inebriates in 2015. Yost says if CSP is unfunded, the city's first responders will be required to spend a majority of their time dealing with Fairbanks' chronic inebriates.
If FPD is picking up the chronic inebriates, they're not getting, more information on a theft that case they're working on, or they're not able to respond to the whole litany of other things that they could be responding to. Not only that, it's cost effective for there to be a CSP than it is for the city to have the fire department or the police department respond to these calls.
The semi-annual Tanana Valley Sportsmen's Association Gun Show took place last weekend. The Tanana Valley Sportsmen's Association, or TVSA, is dedicated to educating Alaskan residents on the safe handling of firearms, promotion of youth, and competitive shooting activities. The gun show took place at UAF on Saturday and Sunday and had a variety of booths, including guns, knives, and collectibles. All profits went to TVSA and to the Nanook Rifle Team.
This has been a fundraiser for TVSA and supporting the University Rifle Team for probably 30 or 40 years. Before I was ever active with it, it was going, and it continues to be a semi-annual. We have one in the spring, one in the fall, gun show to raise money for our junior shooting programs and for the University of Alaska Rifle Team.
October is Fire and Safety Prevention Month. Not only is it important for adults to understand about fire safety, but even more so for young children, which is why the Fairbanks Fire Department is teaming up with the Fairbanks Children's Museum as part of their Super Saturdays promotional event. The fire department plans on a number of activities for kids and their parents. The museum is also planning on showcasing all of their exhibits and fulfilling their goal working with nonprofit agencies within the community.
Yeah, some of the stations that we'll have will introduce the children to who a firefighter is and what our roles are in the community. We'll talk about what to do if your smoke alarm goes off and how to exit your home properly. We'll also have some worksheets that families can work together on in creating their home escape plan, and also having the children start to learn their addresses and home information so they can communicate that to 911 or another adult in an emergency.
We love doing community partnerships with other nonprofits and educational organizations because we feel like there's so much going on in Fairbanks that we have an audience who likes to come in and see different programming. So it's a natural fit to invite entities such as the fire department to come in and teach what they are all about and the lessons that they have. And then that just adds on to the experience for families at the museum.
Okay, Mike Fussell is up next with sports. High school football playoffs are in full swing, which is actually a golf reference. Also, we'll have a look at the I-5 Interior Top 5 Plays of the Week. That's all coming up after the break.
And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your latest local action. Athletes are keeping very busy over the past few days. The ASAA high school football playoffs are in full swing, and the Eielson Ravens are getting a taste of the postseason. They hosted the Homer Mariners for the first round of the small school state tournament. The two teams met up earlier in the year. Eielson took that game by a significant margin, and this time around, their dominance only grew. The Ravens shut out Homer 62-0, scoring on both sides of the ball. Caleb Dunlap turned on the Jets for 6 touchdowns, and Andrew North grabbed 2 interceptions, taking one back to the house. Any Mariner momentum was quickly washed away by a number of penalties. The Ravens advanced to the small school state finals. They take on Nikiski in Anchorage at Diamond Field this Saturday.
It's a great feeling to go back to state. Hopefully we get down there, execute, and do what we do. I think it was working. We were just moving our feet, driving our feet through the blocks. We're running past blocks, and Lions the real MVP of the day.
And coming off of a big dog bowl win, the Lathrop Malamutes grabbed home field advantage for round 1 of the playoffs. Lathrop took on the West Anchorage Eagles. The first half would prove to be a defensive battle. It ended 14-7 with the Eagles flying high. But starting in Q3, an Eagle-Malamute shootout would ensue. With just around 3.5 minutes left until the final whistle, West and Lathrop would near equilibrium by about a point at 28-27. Lathrop would try for a 2-point conversion but fail, leaving them down by just 1. The Mutes would get the ball back and begin to march downfield, but a huge Eagle interception put a stop to the drive with just over a minute left. West runs out the clock and deals Lathrop a heartbreaking loss, 28-27. The Malamutes are now out of the ASAA state football tournament. And some other high school football teams packed their bags in hopes of keeping their postseason dreams alive. North Pole traveled to Kenai for the first round of the medium school playoffs. The Cardinals and Patriots met up several weeks ago, and the fate of North Pole would not change in their second fling Saturday. The Pats fall to the Cards 74-6. And the West Valley Wolfpack was up against East Anchorage Saturday afternoon. The Pack couldn't get anything going against the T-Birds. East wins it 49-0. The Wolfpack and Patriots are no longer in the playoffs, and their seasons are now over. And we wrap up the weekend recap with the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays. Check them out and cast your vote at webcenter11.com.
At number 5, Caden Cahill edged the Ice Dogs forward against the Kenai River Brown Bears on Friday night. Jammed up against the boards, he finds a release and open ice to slip it between the pipes. The Dogs would win Friday 5-2, and Cahill would grab another goal. In the 4 spot, reigning POTW champ RJ Henry is looking to stay on top. Henry weaved through the West Anchorage defense last weekend for Lathrop and went on a long-distance run to the end zone. Lathrop ended up taking a 2-point conversion gamble and losing by just a point. And at number 3, Thunder rarely strikes twice, but Reiner Gorowski, he's an ice dog. He finds the back of the net 2 times in about 2 minutes on Saturday. The back-to-back scores helped give the Ice Dogs a comfortable 3-0 lead in the second period. They would top the Bears Saturday 6-2. In the number 2 slot, it must have been a twin thing. Lathrop's Glenn Maiden Jr. connects with his sibling, Jarius Maiden, for a rolling catch in the corner of the end zone, sharing the brotherly love on the scoreboard. That would edge the Mutes close to a victory, but leave them just a point shy against West Anchorage. And coming in at number 1, the Eielson Ravens' Caleb Dunlap scored not 1 nor 2, but 6 touchdowns in the postseason 62-0 victory against Homer. Dunlap's performance propels the Ravens to the small school state finals. To vote for the play of the week, click on your favorite play on the I-5 poll on webcenter11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube posts and at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The play of the week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
All right, and that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Don't forget to check in tomorrow for the rest of the weekend recap. We'll have a look at some Nanook and Ice Dog hockey. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Monday night edition of the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather. Hope you had yourself a good weekend. All in all, not too bad. Just a few clouds here and there. Cool temperatures though. got down to 22 for the overnight low last night. We're not looking for any change in the weather pattern through the week, so things look pretty good if you want to get some of those chores done before the real cold sets in. Our photograph day, a very nice one sent in by Teresa Fortin. A Salsham morning, just kind of peaceful there with the sun shining through the trees and no snow on the ground, which is very unusual. And again, as always, if you have a photograph to share, well, by all means, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Your numbers look like this. Today's high, only 38 degrees. The low last night, 23. The record high, 58 in 1923, down to 7 below in 1927. Your sunrise and sunset, 10 hours and 6 minutes. We'll go over the under the 10-hour barrier tomorrow as we lose 6 more minutes from today. Here's what our satellite and radar looks like. Most of the energy once again over the eastern side of the state. A lot of rain still continuing to fall over southeast Alaska. Not too much going on across the interior. A little bit of activity moving across the northwest part of the state around the Nome area, but nothing really heavy and no real organized system, so not much change in the overall weather pattern. You can see the rain falling across southeast Alaska today, only 53 degrees at Ketchikan, even cooler around Juneau, 46, 48, and a few sprinkles in the Anchorage Bowl around the Kodiak region. Looking at partly cloudy skies, 52 degrees, raining all day long around the Aleutian Chain, Cold Bay, 40 degrees for their high, 41 at Bethel, and 39 degrees at Nome. Across the North Slope, 27 degrees at Barrow, and Fort Yukon only getting up to 25 for their high today. Looking at the lower 48 weather, well, things are once again wet over the Pacific Northwest, 65 degrees at Seattle. Temperatures right around the mid to upper 90s over the southwest. Nice day in San Francisco, 82 degrees there. Another hot day at Dallas, 94. Not too bad in Denver and Salt Lake City. Minneapolis chilling down to 59 degrees over the eastern half of the lower 48. Looking at some showers over the New England area and around the New York area, 75-degree temperatures. And then not even that warm down to the south, only 82 degrees in New Orleans. On the satellite radar, you see one area of low pressure moving across the Great Lakes, dragging a frontal system behind it that's helping to spawn the showers over the northeast. And over the southwest, some showers trying to move their way up across the southern sections of California and over the Arizona area, and continual flow of moisture coming across the Pacific Ocean. Now, the overall outlook for Southern California is calling for isolated showers and thunderstorms across a large area, from all the way from Phoenix up to Las Vegas and back down to Los Angeles. And the jet stream is calling for, once again, an area of low pressure moving off the northeast, bringing showers there, while high pressure builds back in again, bringing warm temperatures all the way up to the northern sections of the country. And as far as our kids' weather for today, we're starting off the day with a visit with Crawford Elementary School this week. And here's a young man with another interesting story to share with you.
And here's my weather story. My dad and I were in Valdez fishing, and we were on the boat, and we went through a huge cloud of fog, and we couldn't see anything, and there were other boats around us, and we finally got through and went fishing anyway. That's my weather story.
Of course, the young man will be with us tomorrow night. The young lady was with us tonight. Thank you, Ashley, for that story. And as always, thank you to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather for 50 years. Not for 50 years. They've been in the interior for 50 years. They've been sponsoring our kids' weather for quite a while. And tomorrow night, a young man, like I said, will be here with a picture to share with us. Okay, here's your forecast for the rest of Alaska. For the northern sections, light snow at Barrow, rain and snow in Nome, and cloudy skies for Fort Yukon. While here in the interior, we're looking at mainly increasing clouds in the Fairbanks area. Still some isolated showers at Healy and a better chance of rain and snow showers for the Delta Junction area. Over southeast Alaska, the rain will continue, along with some gusty winds for Juneau and Ketchikan, maybe even a thunderstorm in the Ketchikan area. And over the southwest part of the state, rain at Cold Bay, cloudy skies in Kodiak, and rain and snow for Bethel. And down around the south central regions, looking at a chance of rain at Anchorage, rain likely for Valdez, and cloudy skies in Homer. And our forecast for the remainder of the night, well, again, we're looking at we're going to look at our 5-day first. 5-day outlook, as you can see here, looking at 40-degree temperatures along the area there. And our forecast, real quickly, tonight continued chilly with increasing clouds overnight, 24 degrees. And tomorrow's forecast, again, looking at mostly cloudy skies with temperatures above normal. And that will continue right on through the week. Like I said, no change in weather pattern. Temperatures above normal all this week, guys. So no snow in the forecast.
So it's possible we might have another Halloween like we did a few years ago where there was really no snow at all.
It's looking that way. There's no real major features because we got the El Nino going on. That's why.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, will he or won't he? Vice President Joe Biden supporters are beginning to lose hope. That's up next with Lester Holt.
And join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right. From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Good night.